This is WTCN TV, Minneapolis and St. Paul. This is News Center 11, the Weekend Report, with Dennis Bounds, Steve Pacenti Sports, and Bill Peterson Weather. Now for News Center 11, Dennis Bounds.
Good evening. Several aftershocks have hit the Northern California area, rocked by a strong earthquake early today. It was the strongest earthquake to hit the continental United States in 20 years. The shocks jolted a wide area of Northern California and Central Oregon. NBC's Rick Davis files this report from the hardest hit section in California.
This is where a weekend trip down the coast to San Francisco ended for Tom and Marina Mariani and their sons. They were on this freeway overpass when the earthquake hit at 2:30 a.m. Tom Mariani was thrown from the car, but his wife and 9-year-old twins were trapped inside. He said it seemed like an eternity before they were pulled and cut from the wreckage. Mr. and Mrs. Mariani are in serious condition. Both suffered internal injuries and broken bones. Their sons Tom and Mark are in critical condition with head injuries. The only community that had much damage was Fields Landing. The foundation under Homer Montgomery's house collapsed. He and his wife were asleep when the earth shook.
The wife was pretty scared. She don't appreciate these earthquakes.
What do you figure the damage is here financially?
Oh, I figure at least 10,000 to put it back in shape. Have to put a new foundation under it.
Up the street, Mary Brazil has lived in this house for 50 years. The gas lines broke when the house moved. She says her grandson saved her life.
Yes, he did. Because if I stayed there very long, well, naturally, the gas would have killed me.
It'll cost $30,000 to $40,000 to repair the damage here. Mary Brazil says it will be done because this is where her memories are. This house where she lived with her husband until his death a few years ago. Rick Davis, NBC News, Humboldt County, California.
A quake also hit Al Islam, Algeria today. It left 36 people hurt, 13 of them critically injured. A quake in that city last month left at least 10,000 people dead and missing. Well, it seems nobody is really secure in Iran. The former foreign minister of Iran, Sadiq Gopsadeh, is in a Tehran jail tonight. Gopsadeh was arrested for criticizing a number of revolutionary government officials for their handling of the hostage issue. Gopsadeh has called for the release of the hostages. Gopsadeh has also been critical of his country's war effort against Iraq. Tension is high tonight in Poland. Soviet troops are on maneuvers in that Eastern European nation, just 2 days before courts will rule on the rights of labor unions. The court will decide the influence of the Communist Party in Poland's growing labor movement. 1,000 medical students have already gone on strike, helping workers seize an office building. Tonight we're finding the economy is giving to us with one hand, then taking away with the other. Government figures show personal income jumped 1.1% during the second quarter of this year, but in that same April to July period, inflation wiped out that gain. It drove up prices 2.6%. A couple of tense moments at a Minneapolis bar early today. A 32-year-old man with a gun and a warning to police. If they come after him, he'd shoot. But as Joe Casella tells us, all ended without a shot fired.
There were some tense moments at the Chickadee Bar at 2007 Emerson Avenue North early today. Shortly before 1 a.m., a 32-year-old Minneapolis man inside and armed with a handgun warned police he'd shoot if they came after him. Spectators lined the street to watch as special Minneapolis Police Emergency Squad members secured the area and set up a telephone system to talk with him. The man, they said, apparently wanted to die and hoped to provoke police. Lieutenant William Kopp negotiated on the phone for more than 2 hours and finally convinced the man to drop his weapon and surrender. One of the terms of the surrender was that police withhold his name from the news media. Police honored that request. The man was taken to the Hennepin County Medical Center for psychological evaluation. Charges are expected to be filed against him by Monday. In Minneapolis, Joe Casella, News Center 11.
They had a fire in West Minneapolis today, a garage fire at 1115 West 31st Street. And when the firefighters arrived on the scene, flames had enveloped the entire structure. The wind didn't help. It blew some of the fire to the adjacent house, but some quick work by the firemen kept it from doing any damage to that house. The garage was a total loss. Nobody was hurt, although firemen had to administer oxygen to a neighbor who had become overly excited at the scene of that blaze. Police in Minneapolis are looking into the event surrounding an early morning stabbing at Curly's Cafe at 1540 East Lake Street. In the hospital tonight is the cafe's manager with a stab wound to the neck. In jail is Todd Smith. Police don't know where he's from. Assault charges against Smith are pending. There is good news tonight, the story of an Edina boy who was born on the other side of the world, and he's adjusting quite well to the American way of life. That story as News Center 11 continues.